Welcome everyone. I am Deepak, Assistant Professor, Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Bihar. In this video, we are going to discuss about MGCUB entrance exam for the year 2019 for the paper English Literature. In the previous video, we talk about design and pattern of entrance exam. In that video, we come to know about the paper is divided into two parts, 50 question for research methodology and 50 question for English literature. In this video, we are focusing primarily on English literature and the 50 questions only. For the separate research methodology, we will come with another video. If you want to check about the design and pattern of MGCUB entrance exam, you can click on the link in the description. Instead of wasting much time, let's come directly to the English literature part. As we know, there are 50 questions for English literature and all are optional answer. Multiple choice of options, 4 options will be given and you have to choose one particular. And for each, there are 2 marks. Or you can say there is 1 mark for each question, total 100 marks question. And if you score at least 50%, then you will be eligible for interview. 50% for general category and 5% less for reserve category. And now we discuss a lot. Let's jump directly to our paper. Here is the thing that we are having here, that is sole PhD English entrance exam 2019, Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Bihar. These things that we are having here are the instruction. You have to fill it. You will use black or blue ballpoint pen, and instruction number 4 is important. You can read it. You can just take a screenshot of it, and you can read it for later on. And if we move next part, then it is shown that 1 mark for each question, which means for English literature 50 questions. Point number 9 is important. There is no negative marking and so on. So you can read and take a screenshot of it to read it more effectively. Now let's jump to the first question. It is question number 55. And the question 51 read, a figure of speech in which 2 terms opposite in meaning are placed side by side is an example of. And there are 4 options. 1, A, paradox, B, oxymoron, C, sarcasm, D, antithesis. Out of it, you have to choose one option, and the correct option is oxymoron. I repeat, option B, oxymoron. Question number 52 is a phrase, and the phrase is united we stand, divide we fail, is an example of, and the 4 options are antithesis, bathos, tautology, and lithos. And for its answer is antithesis, option A. I repeat, united we stand, divide we fall is an example of antithesis. Question number 53, diction. Diction means option A, severity of prose, option B, devices of meter and rhyme, option C, poetic license, and D, syntax and word order. And here option D is correct, syntax and word order, because diction means words, and here the word is there, so diction. And these 3 questions are more linguistic or structuralist question. You have to check what grammatical pattern is there, what figure of speech is there, and what is meaning of that you can compare with language or structural. Now from here begins literary part. Question number 54. Arcadia is a, and the 4 options are narrative poem, play, romance, and treatise. If you look at Sydney's Arcadia, it is a romance poem. It would be important if you go and check Arcadia, in which year it is written, what is the story, and in how many parts it is divided. It could help you a lot because in entrance exam, same questions are not repeated, but their structure are repeated. For example, if there is Arcadia and here is narrative poem, play, romance, or treatise, it doesn't mean that same question will be asked. It could be asked in which year Arcadia is published, who is author of Arcadia, how many parts Arcadia is divided, and what is the main character of Arcadia, what is the setting of Arcadia. So these things you have to remember. Next question is, who wrote Every Man in His Humour? This is one of the most popular play of Samuel Johnson, and options we are having Shakespeare, Johnson, Milton, and Keats. It is one of the most popular play of Ben Jonson, and hence instead of going deep, you could just put it Johnson, and this is a kind of normal question, and it is easy for us to identify it. And next is, who believe that poetry is spontaneous overflow of emotion? Four options are William Blake, Byron, Wordsworth, Keats. And here answer is Wordsworth. In the preface to Lyrical Ballad 1800, Wordsworth wrote this word from the preface to Lyrical Ballad, and that is spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. And that remains important. You should know about lyrical ballad. In first lyrical ballad 1798, how many poems are there? How many poems are of Wordsworth? How many poems are of St. Coleridge? Which poem opened this, and which poem closes it? Which is the largest or the longest poem of the collection? And how many poems are in 1800 version of St. Coleridge, and so on, and in how many collection, is there any preface in the version of 1798? So these things you have to check because structure is more important. And next question is, yeah, you can also check in which year William Wordsworth became Poet Laureate of England, who was Poet Laureate before him, and who became after him. So these three questions are more important if in case of that entrance exam perspective, which is the famous elegy written by Shelley. And here we are having In Memoriam, Lycidas, Adonis, and Tiresias. And once you are going with the this elegy, then Shelley wrote famous elegy Adonis to on the death of John Keats, the last romantic or the youngest romantic, you could say. And on his death, Shelley wrote the famous elegy Adonis. And you could also check about John Keats, his birth, death, and his important poems, especially the opening line of his poems. And next question that we have is, which of the following is not tragedy written by William Shakespeare? And if you go with the four names, Macbeth, Othello, Merchant of Venice, and King Lear. In case of tragedy written by William Shakespeare, four tragedies are more important: Macbeth, Hamlet, Othello, and King Lear. Mostly these are the four most popular tragedies by William Shakespeare, and rest are not. And out of those, we are having three names here: Macbeth, yes; Othello, of course; King Lear, indeed. So what left is Merchant of Venice. And in that sense, Merchant of Venice is the answer. So in these questions, we are having three questions from linguistic and rest from literature. And this is 8 questions from the page 1 or part 2. And now we are moving to next questions. Hero and Worship. Hero and Hero Worship is written by and there we are having Ruskin, Carlyle, Mill, and none of these. And out of these, if you look at Hero and Hero Worship is a famous book by Carlyle. In that sense, answer is simply B, because Carlyle is most popular author for Hero and Hero Worship. Next question is French Revolution, and the French Revolution took place in the year. And here the four answer you are having 1793, 1796, 1798, and none of these. In case of French Revolution, the answer is none of these, because it is not here. And you could confuse by the year 1798, then it could be very difficult for student to find it. And it's the easy thing is after 1789, that is very easy way to remember. After 1789, and 1789 is the answer, and it continues for the next 10 years. And you could also remember it 1 year after preface to lyrical ballad. And this is what we have with the background question. Next question is University wits word, and it is again a background question, and poets, playwright, novelist, and essays. University wits, as we are aware about, around Elizabethan era. So at that time, essays were not popular and novels were not invented at that time, and hence you can remove this essayist and novelist, and poets and playwright is option. And if you look at Elizabethan era, that era is most popular for playwright, and hence you could put playwright answer. And you could also check who are 7 university wits: Thomas, Kit, Marlowe, Neil, Payne, and others. So these are some 7. And next question that we are going, in which of the following critics is not considered to have dealt basically with the structuralism? And 4 options are Derrida, Proust, Strauss, and Jacobson. In that, that is the structuralist question, you can say linguistic question more. And out of that, you will find structuralism is a movement associated with Jacques Derrida, Proust, and Strauss. And the old one is Roman Jacobson, and hence the answer is Roman Jacobson. Literary movement that begin in response to structuralism was. And now you are having simply 2 questions back to back from structuralism, and after structuralism is coming post-structuralism, and you could simply put it. Materialism is opposite of, and again a structuralist question, and 4 options are idealism, humanism, structuralism, and imagism. And here you are having that materialism is totally opposite of idealism, and hence you could put option A over here. And 3 to back structural questions, and now you are coming to Indian literature. Natya Sastra. Natya Sastra is composed by, and you can find Anand Vardhan, second Bharta, C. Abhinav Gupta, and D. Bharatahari. And out of these 4 options, this is one of the easiest question perhaps, and Bharat Muni's Natya Sastra is all popular, so you could put without any question option B, Bharat Muni. And the transient emotions are called, and options are Vibhava, Sthai Bhava, Anubhava, or Sanchari Bhava. And these are 6 questions. These 4 options are saying Vibhava, Sthai Bhava, Anubhava, or Sanchari Bhava, and the transient emotion simply means Sanchari Bhava. And option is D. Dhavni can be attributed to again Indian literature, and Vamana, Anandavardhana, Bharta, and Bharatahari. And Dhavni and Rasa are two important parts of Natya Sastra, and Natya Sastra is associated with Bharat, and hence answer is Bharat. William Wordsworth belonged to the age of, and the options are Victorian age, Romantic age, modern age, and postmodern age. We know Wordsworth is most important poet of Romantic era, and it is with him that Romantic era begins in 1798. So it is background question and the easy one. So no need to go with the detailed study. Biographia Literaria is a biography, translation, memoirs, or autobiography. And Biographia Literaria is one of biographical work, and that's why you could check it in your answer. And it is Saleh's life from you can check it. Coleridge divides blank into primary and secondary, and answer is imagination, emotion, poem, and nature. And out of it, you could find that appears in Biographia Literaria itself, and answer is A, imagination, because Coleridge divide imagination into two parts, that is primary and secondary, and Biographia Literaria is more about it, and hence you could go with that. And next, Wordsworth prefer a language which is used by option A, common people, B, urban people, C, upper class, D, rustic people. And if you check the preface to Lyrical Ballad, here it is written very clearly that select a language spoken by common people, and the common word is here, and hence the answer is A. 72. Who gave the concept of art for art's sake? Options are Matthew Arnold, David Deutsches, Walter Pater, Dryden. And here the answer is simply Walter Pater. What are the chief figures which make for sublimity? Rhetoric, emotion, rapid flow, rhetorical question, ascendation, hibernation, hiberbaton, and periphrases. Sorry, because it is not clear while looking at it, hence mistake. And in it, option D, rhetorical question, ascendation, hiberbaton, and periphrases. So this is question, and out now 74 question. The drama Tamburlaine is written by Shakespeare, B. Marlowe, D.C. Lyly, D. Green. And answer is Marlowe's Tamburlaine, one of the most popular tragedy of Marlowe. And here you can find, apart from Shakespeare, all these three are university wits. So university wits, you have to remember the name of the authors. That is very helpful. And if possible, do remember all the name of plays of Marlowe, because he is the more important in case of that. Who wrote the maximum number of sonnets? And that is a tricky question, because four options are given: Shakespeare, Milton, Sidney, and Wordsworth. Most of the students go with Shakespeare because he has written largest number, but they forget Wordsworth. And if you count the sonnets, then the answer is William Wordsworth, because he has written somewhere around 523 sonnets. But if the question comes, who wrote the largest sonnet sequence, in case of that, answer is William Shakespeare. Because in case sonnet sequence means a collection of poems which follow one after another. And in that sense, William Shakespeare will be the answer. 76. Who is associated with Malgudi? R.K. Narayan, B. Mulk Raj Anand, Manohar Malgonkar, D. Anita Desai. Malgudi Days is one of the most important work that you have seen, and it is by R.K. Narayan. So answer is R.K. Narayan. Who wrote Train to Pakistan? R.K. Narayan, Manohar Malgonkar, Khushwant Singh Anand. Train to Pakistan is the most popular work of Khushwant Singh. So if you look at Malgudi or Train to Pakistan, these are background question or So you could easily remember them. Animal Farm was written by option A. Jones Joyce, B. Virginia Woolf, C. George Orwell, D. Conrad. And Animal Farm is most important book of George Orwell, and George Orwell was born here in Motihari, Bihar, and in Meena Bazaar is the farm where Orwell was born. 79. Spenser's Fairy Queen is a tragic poem, allegorical poem, moral poem, half allegorical poem. And in the very opening of this Spenser Fairy Queen, Spenser itself declares that it is an allegorical poem. Richardson Pamela is a novel in the a picaresque form, episodic form, epistolary form, or impressionistic form. And Pamela is epistolary novel, option C, because in this novel, plot developed through the letters, because one letter is written by one character and the second letter is given in response. So that is epistolary form. And next question is Selfish Giant. Selfish Giant is a story written by Tagore, option A, option B, Oscar Wilde, C. Maupassant, Gaudi Maupassant, and option D, Leo Tolstoy. And the answer is B, Oscar Wilde. Raju is the hero of option A, Guide, the mark of Vishnu, option C, Ajadi, option D, the god of smiting. We know Raju is the most famous character of R.K. Narayan and is from the novel The Guide. And there is also a movie made on this novel, and the role of Raju is played by evergreen hero Devanand. And now we have finished 82 questions. It is time to move to 83rd. Pope's Rape of the Lock is a option A, satire, mock heroic poem, option C, burlesque, option D, ballad. And everyone is aware about it is mock heroic poem, so option is B. Which of the following is well-known work of Daniel Defoe? Option A, Robinson Crusoe, B, Colonel Jack, option C, The New Voyage Round the World, option D, Rexona. And out of these, Robinson Crusoe is most important work because it is about shipwork of Robinson Crusoe, and he spent somewhere around 27 years in a lonely island. And option A. Who is called father of English novel? James Boswell, B. Richardson, C. Edward Gibbon, D. Henry Fielding. Out of these, it is background question, and answer is Henry Fielding. To understand it more, you can check the term four wheel of novels. Four wheel of novels, and if you understand it, then you will get all the answer to your question. Four wheel of novel. Novel ke chaar pahine. Next, Indian literature. Who wrote the preface to Gitanjali? Famous book of Rabindranath Tagore, for which he was given Nobel Prize for Literature. Option A, W.B. Yeats, D. B. Auden, C. T.S. Eliot, D. Larkin. And answer is W.B. Yeats, William Butler Yeats. Sometime full name of poets could also come. W.B. Yeats for Stan, the William Butler Yeats, T.S. Eliot for Thomas Stern Eliot, and P.B. Shelley, Percy Bysshe Shelley, S.T. Coleridge, Samuel Tyler Coleridge. So these full name also you have to remember. Which of the following works is not by Milton? Option A, Paradise Lost. Option B, El Penseroso. C, Lycidas. D, Maud. And in this, you will find Paradise Lost is most popular work of Milton. El Penseroso, yes, of course. Lycidas, yeah. Elegy. Option D is Maud. Maud is the most important work by Tennyson, and you could check about it. And next is Spanish tragedy. 88. Who wrote the Spanish tragedy? Option A, Shakespeare, B, Thomas Kyd, option C, Marlowe, option D, Lyly. Here the answer is Thomas Kyd. Wordsworth Prelude is option A, an epic, option B, a lyric, option C, an ode, Option D, an elegy. Many critics have defined the prelude as an epic, although it is an autobiography that published somewhere in 1850 after the death of Wordsworth, and his wife published it. And it is an epic, but it is also an autobiography, as several critics called it an epic, and so the answer is option A. Charles Lamb's essays appears in the Public Ledger, the London Magazine, the Gentleman Magazine, the Englishman. And Charles Lamb is popular for his essays, and most of them appears in London Magazine. Option B. 91 question. Which of the following novel of Jane Austen deals with elopement? Option A, Persuasion. Option B, Mansfield Park. Option C, Pride and Prejudice. And option D is Emma. In case of this answer, the correct option is C, Pride and Prejudice. Do remember the very famous opening of Pride and Prejudice. It is truth universally acknowledged, and you could check it. And also remember the famous name of characters so from this novel, because sometimes it is also asked. If you want to crack this exam, it would be important to check at least Jane Austen's novel. Tennyson's In Memoriam was written in the memory of A. Arthur Clough, B. Arthur Henry Hallam, C. his wife, D. Robert Browning. If you go Alfred Tennyson, so then In Memoriam is having a title that is in the memory of A.H.H. And this A.H.H. is none other than Arthur Henry Hallam. So the answer is B. Essays in Criticism is the fundamental work of John Ruskin. Option B, Walter Pater. C, T.B. Macaulay, Matthew Arnold. T.B. Macaulay, Thomas Babington Macaulay, or full name. And Essays in Criticism, you could not confuse it with the Pope's Essay in Criticism. It is a different work, and it is by Matthew Arnold. Hardy's novels are known as Waverley novels, B. Malgudi novels. Sorry, perhaps there was mistake, and you could find So essays in criticism, we are on the question number 94. So Waverley novels, so Malgudi novels, Wessex novel, and Lake novels. Hardy's novels are popular for Wessex novel. It is similar like R.K. Narayan is called author of Malgudi days, and hence the term Malgudi is associated with him. Similarly, Wessex novel is related to Hardy, Thomas Hardy. Next, 95 question, War and Peace. War and Peace is written by option A, Leo Tolstoy, Fyodor Dostoevsky, C, Tagore, none of above. War and Peace is most important work of Leo Tolstoy, and another important work of Leo Tolstoy is Anna Karenina. So you have to remember the name of these two texts, in which year they are published, which are the main character of these, and these things that you have to remember. Now the next 96, which of the following is called Age of Doubt? Option A, Victorian age, B, Restoration age, Age of Chaucer, and Age of Romantic era. And out of these four questions, you could say it is background question, and its simple answer is Victorian age. Literature and Dogma deals with option A, Poetry and Medicine, option B, Literature and Medicine, option C, Poetry and Religion, option D, Literature and Superstition. And Literature and Dogma is important work by Matthew Arnold, and its answer is option C, Poetry and Religion. Who is known as the poet of liberty? C.G. Rossetti, Christina Rossetti, D. B. Arnold, Matthew Arnold, C. William Morris, and D. Swinburne. And its answer is Swinburne. Who wrote Wuthering Heights? Option A, George Eliot. Option B, George Meredith. Option C, Charlotte Bronte. Option D, Emily Bronte. Who is, and out of these question, you could see Emily Bronte is popular for the novel Wuthering Heights, and you could check the hero, heroine, and main characters, what is the name of the house in particular, and these things you have to remember in case of Wuthering Heights. And the last question is, who is believed to be writer of On the Sublime? A. Aristotle, B. Longinus, C. Plato, D. Matthew Arnold. And Longinus is the answer, option B. So these are the 100 question in particular if you are checking it, and going through it would make you more strong, but it does not mean that you could crack your exam only through these questions. You have to read a lot. You can check the structure of this previous entrance exam in another video which is shared in the group, and with this you could get more progress. But it would be better that if you get or gather knowledge about the basic, because all the questions that here are mostly basic. Who is the author of whose book, and which writer belong to which age, and there is no hard question as compared to UGC net. If you look at UGC net question, they are much deeper. If you have prepared at least one time for UGC net, then it would be very easy for you to crack this exam from this perspective. This is what we have here for English literature, but is not the end. Research methodology part is also left. We will come again with a smaller work for this, and hopeful to give you a chance from where you can find yourself strong, and could find itself in a situation you could crack it. And this is enough we have. Till then, take care, goodbye. And if you like the video, do subscribe to our channel. And with this, thank you, take care, goodbye.